already, hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications. On today's episode, we're making a Thai-inspired fresh spring roll with baked tofu. So let's get into it. To begin our recipe, we're going to start off with our tofu. So I have a 1 pound block of tofu here, and what we're going to do after we drain off the water is we're going to get a paper towel and wrap our tofu in the paper towel just to get the excess water out so that all of our flavor will remain in the tofu. So I just wrap it around and then just give it a few squeezes just so that the more water can be released from our tofu. We don't have to do too much pressure because we don't want to end up smashing our tofu, but we still want to get that extra water out. So from here, we are just going to cut our tofu into maybe 1 or 1/2 inch thick slices. So we're just going to cut just like this. So this is how our slices are going to be. Nothing too crazy, and then we're just going to continue this for the whole block. Our tofu is all sliced up now, so we're going to take a little bit of olive oil and we're going to drizzle it on a sheet pan. And we have our oven preheated to 375 degrees for our baked tofu. So we just drizzle our pan with the olive oil, and then we're just going to evenly distribute it across our entire pan so that our tofu does not stick. And now we're going to move on to breading the tofu. So for our tofu breading, I have some coconut aminos, and I also have some seasoned flour that has onion powder, garlic powder, cumin, ginger, cilantro, and some paprika. We don't need salt in the flour because the coconut aminos is very salty in itself, so we just omit it just so that our tofu doesn't end up salty. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our tofu and we're going to dredge it in the coconut aminos. Just give it a nice coat. And then we're going to dredge it through our seasoned flour. And then we are going to just add this to our boiled sheet pan. We're just going to keep on doing that until we have the whole block set and ready to go. Our tofu is now all breaded, so we're going to stick it in our oven at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 minutes, and then we're going to flip it over and let it go for another 10 minutes. Our tofu is now out of the oven and coming down to room temperature, so while that's happening, let's work on our vermicelli noodles. So we have our thin vermicelli noodles here, so we're going to put it into a bowl. And we're going to cover it with boiling hot water and let it sit for 3 minutes until it softens. After our vermicelli noodles soaked in the boiling water for 3 minutes, I took it out, drained it, and splashed it with some cool water to stop the cooking process. Now I'm going to take some sesame oil and drizzle just a little bit over the noodles to give it some extra flavor. We're just going to toss that and let it sit while we cut up our tofu. I ended up adding a little bit more garlic powder to the vermicelli noodles as well, just to give it that added extra flavor. So now we're going to move on to our tofu. So right now I have 3 strips of my tofu, and we're just going to stack them and get our knife and just cut them into thinner strips so that they all fit into our spring rolls. We can now rehydrate our spring roll skin. So what you're going to need is your spring roll wrapper, and then over here I have some lukewarm water in a plate. So we're just going to dip the skin into there and let it soak until it softens. This process is relatively quick, and the skin will end up being very sticky, so don't worry if it's a little bit difficult to get it out or to get it straightened on your cutting board. Our spring roll skin is rehydrated and I transferred it to my cutting board. You may not be able to see it now because it is very translucent and it's also very sticky, so it is sticking to the cutting board. So right now we're just going to wait until it dries out a little bit and then we'll start filling it with this delicious stuff around me. Our spring roll skin is now dried up, so let's start assembling. So because I want my tofu to be the star of my show, we are going to lay our tofu down first before we lay down any other filling, because we are working in the opposite direction. So everything's going to be folded and rolled, and this will be at the top. So I put down my tofu. Then I'm going to put some carrot for crunch. Then I have some bell pepper, some cucumber, some alfalfa sprouts, some scallion, some cilantro, and parsley. And then my noodles. And now we are just going to fold it up like a burrito. So we're going to take our ends and fold it inwards. Be very careful with this because the skin is very fragile. Fold it inward. And then we're going to take the corner that's closest to us and fold it over. And then we're going to dip our finger into the lukewarm water and we're just going to run it along the ending of the other side, giving it almost like a glue-like ability, just so that we could seal our spring roll all the way. And then just flip it over, and then you have your spring roll. And there you have it, our Thai-inspired fresh spring rolls with tofu. So at this point, you can just grab your favorite Asian-style dressing to use as a dipping sauce. For me, I'm using hoisin sauce. So if you guys want to know how I cut up my vegetables for this dish, please let me know in the comments and I'll be sure to make a video just on that. So here we have it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember, healthy doesn't mean boring. Cheers. I'll see you next time.